Hello class, my name is Miss Woolsey and today I'm going to be teaching a 4th grade science lesson over the states of matter. The focus of this lesson is to learn about the states of matter and then apply our knowledge while we make root beer floats. We are going to discover the difference between a solid, a liquid, and a gas, as well as the difference between a physical and chemical change. This is going to be really fun and I hope you're excited. Okay class, before we get to the fun stuff, making the root beer floats, we need to learn a little bit about the states of matter. I would recommend taking notes on this. You can either write this on a piece of paper in your notebook or you can type it on your computer. And at any time, if the video is moving too fast for you, you can pause it and catch up and then press play again. Okay, to begin, what is matter? Matter is anything that takes up space and has mass. Okay, I'm going to stop right there. In this, we're going to talk about mass and volume. The best analogy I have for you for mass and volume is if we were in a real classroom with students. The mass would be the number of students in that classroom, and the volume would be the size of the classroom. Mass is kind of the quantity, and volume is how much space. Okay? So matter, again, is anything that takes up space and has mass. So an example of that is this candle. This candle is taking up space and it has a certain mass. Okay? Another example is this rock. This rock is taking up space and it has a mass as well. Okay, there are 3 types of matter: solid, liquid, and gas. We'll start with a solid. A solid is anything with a definite shape and volume. So, this banana. This banana has a definite shape, the shape of it's not changing, and it has a definite volume. Another example, this coaster. This coaster has a definite shape, a definite volume. Okay, the second one is liquid. And liquid is anything that has a definite volume but no definite shape. So, this water bottle has the water in this water bottle, there's a specific amount of water, but the shape of the water can change. If I move it around, the amount of water in this bottle is going to stay the same, but the shape of it will not stay the same. Same for this jug of milk. The amount of milk in here is definite, but the shape of the milk is not. Okay, and then the third and final type of matter is gas. And gas is something that has no definite shape and no volume. So for example, if I light this candle, this flame is gas. There's no shape to it and there's no specific volume to it. Okay. Alright, now there's 2 types of changes, a physical change and a chemical change. A physical change, although some extensive properties like the shape or phase of the material may change, the material itself is the same before and after the change. This change can also be undone. So, an example of this, if I take this piece of paper and crumple it up, this is a physical change. This paper, even though it's crumpled up, it's still paper. I can also undo it. Now, after I crumpled it up, the shape of this paper is different, but it is still paper. And I can undo it. I can uncrumple the paper. So that is an example of a physical change. Now, a chemical change, the substance present at the beginning of the change and at the end of is not present at the end of the change. A new substance is formed. This change cannot be undone. An example of this I have is every morning when I leave my house, I have a bottle of water and I have my powder that I put in it and mix it up and it makes lemonade for me. So, if I open this, wrong side, this, I can pour the powder in my water bottle. Now here comes the chemical change. I'm going to shake it up. And now it's all liquid. There's no powder left. And it's different. And I can't undo this. I can't take the powder and make it powder again. Okay? So that is chemical change. Okay class, now that we have our states of matter vocabulary list, it's time to make our root beer floats. Before we do, let's go over our vocabulary one more time. First term is matter, and that is anything that takes up space and has mass. There's 3 types of matter. The first is solid, which is anything with a definite shape and volume. The second is liquid. That is anything that has a definite volume but no definite shape. And the third is gas, which does not have a definite shape or a definite volume. We talked about two types of changes. One's a physical change, and that is something that the material itself is the same before and after the change, and that change can be undone. The second type of change we discussed is a chemical change, and that is where the substance present at the beginning of the change is not present at the end of the change. A new substance is formed, and this change cannot be undone. Okay, now before we get started, I want you to go wash your hands. All right, class, now that we have our hands nice and clean, it's time to gather our materials. The first can be found on our website. It's this worksheet. It has 3 columns, solid, liquid, and gas. You can print it off or you can just fill it out on the computer because we will be submitting this online. We don't need it quite yet, but this will come in at the end of our lesson. The rest of the materials can be found in the kitchen. We need our vanilla ice cream, our root beer, an ice cream scoop, or you can just use a spoon if you don't have a scoop, a measuring cup, and any type of cup to hold your root beer float in. All right, now we're ready. Okay, the first thing that we're going to do is pour 1/2 a cup of our root beer into our measuring cup. Now when we pour liquid into a measuring cup, it's important to get at eye level so we can see the exact amount that we're pouring. Now we want 1/2, so find the 1/2 mark on your measuring cup. Mine is right here because it's a bigger cup. If you have a smaller cup, it might be more up on the cup. Okay, now get down to eye level and pour, and you might have some fizz, so it'll take a second. Let that go down. And once the top of the liquid is to the line, it says a 1/2 by it, you have a 1/2 a cup, and you can pour it into the glass that you're going to put your ice cream in. All right. Now, grab your ice cream, and we're going to take 2 scoops of our ice cream and put it in our root beer. Now, if you have a spoon, you might have to do more than 2. You might want 3. If you have a regular ice cream scoop, it should be good with just 2. So we're going to scoop out 2 scoops of ice cream and put it in 1, 2. All right. Now, this is where you really need to pay attention. The next thing we're going to do is slowly add more root beer to the cup, and I want you to observe what happens, okay? All right. You'll fill it up till it's to the top of your glass, or not to the top, but to a normal drinking amount. All right. And you have officially made a root beer float. Class, as you're enjoying your nice root beer float, I want to discuss what we just saw. When we poured the root beer on top of our ice cream, what was produced? Did you see bubbles? Because I saw bubbles. Bubbles were formed when we poured the root beer on top of the ice cream and all of it mixed together. Now, was this a physical change or a chemical change? It was a chemical change because a new substance was formed and they could not be separated. It wouldn't be possible for us to undo our change and pull apart the ice cream, the root beer, and the bubbles. Okay, now I want you to grab your worksheet, whether it's printed out or online, and we are going to separate the stuff that we just used into the 3 states of matter. I want you to write what was a solid, what was a liquid, and what was a gas, and draw a picture of each. Okay, class. On the bottom of your paper, I want you to go ahead and write an explanation of what you saw happen and why. Once you're done with that, I want you to submit it online, and then we're going to discuss some things. So go ahead and pause the video until it's submitted, and when you're ready and done with all that, press play again. Okay, now, just a quick overview. I don't want you to be wondering. The ice cream was our solid. Ice cream should have been in our solid column. The root beer should have been in our liquids column. And the air bubbles should have been in the gas column. So I hope you enjoyed this lesson. Thank you for participating in it. I hope you now know how to make a root beer float and understand the states of matter. Thanks, and have a great day.